Today I'm playing Pokemon Violet, but I can only use Explosion. If you're not familiar with the move Explosion, it's basically a 250 base power normal type move that causes your Pokemon to self-destruct at the cost of doing a ton of damage. Just like this.
What the hell? Why did you explode my Pokemon? Are you okay?
And just like that, we win the first battle. Well, technically not, but having the move Explosion is actually pretty trivial. Fortunately, this first rival battle isn't really required, so we can still progress even though we just exploded our Pokemon and lost the battle. Essentially, the only way we can win a battle while using Explosion is to make sure that we have at least one Pokemon remaining. That means after catching this big ball of bacon here, we're actually able to win battle. Unfortunately, because he's on my team, that means he's gonna learn how to blow up and hate me. But hey, he's gonna be really strong. And right after this is when we can finally win our first trainer battle. Poor Scarlet. Hey man, why'd you blow up my Pokemon like that? Oh god, don't tell me this is gonna be the whole video. You see, since Explosion is the only move we can use, we're gonna need a lot of Pokemon. Oh, and I mean a lot. Alright, we have a full team of Pokemon here. And right here, this is a really good example of how these battles are gonna go. Pokemon makes you fight trainers consecutively. And this right here is a really good example why we caught all those Pokemon. We're forced to do 2 battles in a row without healing. But this is how the battles are gonna look. But finally making it to Coronado and starting the gym test, you can see this is truly where the challenge lies. Our Sprigatito here uses Explosion, and what the yes. Although we're using a 250 base power move, we're doing absolutely no damage to these Pokemon. I wonder why. Well, the way that damage is calculated is by your level. So in the beginning of the game, although we're using a 250 base power move, we literally have to use 3 Pokemon in order to defeat 1. Oh god, why did they decide to do this? Luckily, we got a couple revives from Neoma in the beginning of the game, so we're able to take on the next gym challenger with 4 Pokemon. But if I use all 4 of them just trying to explode this thing to the ground, I'm gonna lose. So I use Hone Claws and then I use Explosion to guarantee that I would kill it. That being said, we're trying to see if it's even possible to beat Pokemon only using Explosion. I mean, there's literally trainers with 6 Pokemon on their team. How the heck are we supposed to use Explosion to beat those teams? And since we're using a normal type move, it would actually be a really good idea to catch some normal type Pokemon because they have a 50% damage boost on the same type moves they use. I decided to catch a couple Eevees and Jigglypuffs, and we take on the first gym leader, Kathy. She uses bug types. She starts by sending out her Nimble as we send out Eevee, and we just explode on her. And we managed to take her out, and I really think picking normal type Pokemon was definitely the move because I don't think we would have been able to do that much damage with any other Pokemon. Next, we send out our Igglybuff, and we do not kill her. We barely take her out, so we're forced to send out Lechonk, take a bug bite, and explode. And dang, that Tarantula almost took me out, but we managed to take her out in the process. But we only have 3 Pokemon left. And next, we send out Bonsley as she sends out her Teddy Ursa. She terrestrializes into a bug type and uses Fury Cutter, almost taking me out. As we use Explosion on Bonsley and take her down to half HP. At this point, we only have 2 Pokemon left, and she has a Fury Cutter boost, so we have to use a fast Pokemon. I decided to use Sprigatito, and we managed to outspeed her and use Explosion to take her down. Yes, it literally took 5 Pokemon to beat the first gym leader. If that's not an example how hard this challenge is gonna be, man, I don't know what to tell you. Despite us using a 250 base power move, the fact that we have to sacrifice a Pokemon just to deal damage makes this a very hard challenge. That first gym was pretty simple, but let's go ahead and make our way to Artisan City so we can take on the second badge. We have to go against Brassius and his grass type Pokemon. He sends out Petalii as we send out our Eevee, and we go ahead and use Explosion. We're able to take out the first Petalii in 1 shot as the Smoliv comes out and uses Razor Leaf on the incoming Igglybuff. Igglybuff actually had enough power to take down the Smoliv this time around, and Sudowoodo comes out. Knowing that Brassius was going to terrestrialize into a grass type, we decided to terrestrialize ourselves. This means we'll get an additional 50% boost on this next explosion that's coming out. Although we use a terrestrialized Explosion, we only do half of his health as he uses Trailblaze, but he doesn't have a target, so he can't use it. We use Sprigatito because we know that we're gonna be faster than him, and we use a Hone Claws, trying to get enough power to take this thing down. But he uses Trailblaze, which raises his speed, and as we try to use Explosion, he uses Rock Throw, it just kills me. At this point, I only have Jigglypuff and Squirtle left. He uses Trailblaze again, and I use Explosion with Jigglypuff, and it literally doesn't kill him. What does this mean? I only have 1 Pokemon left. If I use Explosion, I'll lose the battle. So just like that, although we're using one of the most overpowered moves in the game, we lost. This is when it came to my attention that although I'm using a 250 base power move that's traditionally known to be overpowered, I actually have to strategize to win these battles. Mainly because I'm sacrificing my Pokemon just to deal damage. So I started analyzing the type of Pokemon that I have. I had an Eevee that had adaptability, which means this Eevee has a 2x boost instead of a 50% boost. And just looking in general, Jigglypuff has the worst defense ever. So I tried it again. Petalil comes out as our Eevee comes out and we use Explosion. We take them down with ease. Next, just like last time, I decided to use Igglybuff to take down the Smoliv. Oh my god, he crit me with Razor Leaf, but we're able to kill him. And that's another example. Our Pokemon has to be strong enough to actually get the explosion off. Sudowoodo finally comes out and we decide to use Eevee. We Terrasilize and use Explosion, taking his HP down to around 60%. And this time we decided to immediately use Explosion on Sprigatito, knowing that we're faster than the Sudowoodo. Although it does not do that much damage at all, Sudowoodo doesn't get the Trailblaze off, which means he's still slow. Unfortunately, our Squovit is slower. But utilizing our Pokemon correctly, we're able to explode Squovit and win the battle. That battle wasn't that complicated. Oh my god, what is wrong with this Titan Pokemon? Why does he look like that? Oh man, this game is so glitchy. But this right here is an example of some of the challenges that we have to face. Cloth right here is a rock type Pokemon. And rock type Pokemon are resistant to normal type moves. So when we use Explosion, it's not gonna do that much damage. But this is why I allow stat dropping moves like Tail Whip. We're able to Tail Whip 3 times, go down, and then use Tail Whip again as our Eevee comes out and Terrasilizes and uses Explosion. This almost takes out the Titan Pokemon, but as you can tell, we're doing a lot more damage than we would have been. I mean, this guy is literally -5, but he didn't die. But ultimately, this challenge is winding down to requiring a lot of strategy in order to win. But now we make it to Levincia City, and it's time to take on the 3rd gym. Hey, that's Neoma.
Oh, hey, Duaji. How are you doing?
Oh, you know, I just got 2 of my gym badges, about to get the 3rd. Do you want to battle?
Not really.
Come on, let's go battle. And we start the battle with Nemona. She sends out her Rock Ruff as we Terrasilize into her Eevee after tail whipping and using Explosion.
Oh my god, why? Why are you doing this to my Pokemon?
She sends out Palmy next, and she uses Dig as we use Explosion, which means we literally sacrificed her Pokemon for no reason. The next turn, we're able to catch her Palmy when she comes out of the ground and use Explosion.
Oh my god! Why do you keep using Explosion?
Nemona, is that the only thing you can say?
Look, I don't understand. How can you just blow up your Pokemon like you don't care about them? You know that hurts them, right?
Why does that matter? Anyways, her Quaxwell comes out and we explode with Jigglypuff, almost taking her down. Then we swap to Florado and use Explosion to finish her off, winning the battle.
Oh my god, this dude's a psycho. Why does he not care about his Pokemon like that? How can he just explode them all willy-nilly?
That being said, it's time to finally face out Iono. She sends out her Water Row as we send out her Eevee. Knowing that Water Row doesn't have a lot of defense, we just go ahead and explode our weaker Eevee, taking her out. Next, her Bellibolt comes out, and we decide to send out our Grass Cat Pokemon. We use a couple Hone Claws, knowing that our explosions are just a little weaker, but she paralyzes me in the process, and I'm kind of forced to explode. So I explode, and she literally survives on 1 HP. This really sucks because we literally sacrificed her Pokemon just to do that. Jigglypuff comes out, and because of his Electromorpheus, she goes down in 1 hit. So we have to send out our next Jigglypuff. Since he doesn't have an Electromorpheus charged up, we're able to survive the hit from Spark and take her out. Luxio comes out, and he has the most annoying ability anyone could have, Intimidate, which means our explosion is actually going to be weaker. So we decide to use Stockpile. Stockpile is a move that increases your defense and special defense simultaneously in 1 turn, but that was actually just a waste of time. We explode, and yeah, we lost the battle. So this is getting really problematic. As Pokemon get stronger, it gets very hard to take them out, especially since what's wrong with this dude? Especially since we're using a lot of Pokemon that does not have stab on Explosion. We decide to go to Mesagoza and get some sandwich supplies. You know, some mayonnaise, some mustard, some ham, so we can make some ham sandwiches. You already know if you play Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. I decided to go and get some Chanseys. But then I had the realization, even if I was to level up my Pokemon, that wouldn't mean that I would be able to take these Pokemon out. What we really need to do is stop by Delibird Presence and get a Power Bracer and a Power Anklet. Power Bracer does is increase your attack EVs by the maximum amount every time you battle a Pokemon and beat it. It doesn't really matter what Pokemon you beat up. And the Power Anklet does the same thing, but for speed. So I decided to beat up a bunch of baby Pokemon to increase my attack EVs, because ultimately all of my Pokemon are just not packing that punch they need. And this is when I have to say grinding is the most tedious and annoying thing trying to use Explosion. explosion. Essentially, the Pokemon that's out doesn't get any XP, but the remaining of the party does. You're literally just trying to level up your Pokemon only using the leftover XP. So I thought it would be a good idea to just go ahead and beat up those baby Pokemon I was talking about earlier. So after some training, I leveled up my Eevee and it turned into a Sylveon. Sylveon does not have a lot of attack and we're only using the attacking moves, so that kind of sucks. But holy crap, we got Pixelate on our Sylveon. That means we evolved the Sylveon to have a hidden ability, which is typically like a 1 in 250 chance. I never had a hidden ability on a Pokemon without using an item, so this is pretty cool. But Pixelate turns my normal moves into fairy type moves and gives them a 30% boost. So it might actually be a good idea to utilize this. After a decent amount of time strategizing, we decided to take on Iona again, but this time we have a plan. We send out Jigglypuff on Watero, and we're able to take the spark. Holy crap, that is so much damage. Look, Jigglypuff just has no defense. Probably gonna have to remove her from the team. Bellyboat comes out and we use our Grass Cat, and since we have some attack EVs, we decided to Hone Claw like we were trying to do the first time. This Bellyboat has no moves to hit me, so I'm able to set up free. Unfortunately, he does have Spark, a move that has a 30% to paralyze me. Paralyzes me. Oh my god, I can't move. Okay, we managed to get the explosion off, and we actually take out the Bellyboat. That's what we like to see. That's what we like to see. Next, we sent out Greedent on the Luxio. Knowing that this Luxio was going to be a pain in my butt, I decided to learn Tail Whip on Greedent and utilize these stockpiles for a reason. So we'll spam stockpile and eat all the attacks that comes our way. Use rest if we really need to heal our HP. This Luxio's defense so low it doesn't even matter the fact that he intimidated me. Now, that's what I call strategy. Unfortunately, he crits me, but we're able to get the rest off in time, Tail Whip him a couple more times, and explode in his face. And man, I'm glad I decided to strategize because we have 3 Pokemon left and we're on the last one.
Oh my god, why are you exploding my Pokemon so nonchalantly? What's going on?
And we decided to terrasilize into a normal type, as Miss Magius decides to terrasilize into an electric type. We get Confuse Raid, which is very annoying, but we managed to get the explosion off. This is basically a Pixelate stab boosted explosion, doing a shit ton of damage and winning us the game.
Oh my god!
Okay, bro, I'm gonna need you guys to stop screaming. I know my Pokemon are just exploding your Pokemon, but Jesus, man, this is ridiculous. Anyways, we win the 3rd badge and things are looking up. We're slowly navigating our way through this challenge and we're learning all the ins and outs to completing it. That being said, we go ahead and jump to Kofu. So he sends out Veluza as we send out Jigglypuff. He outspeeds me and uses Aqua. Oh my god! Jigglypuff, you're horrible! What is your defense? Oh my, bro, you're telling me that you're 15 defense? What the Okay, we can't use Jigglypuffs on our team. They're just too weak. This one's level 27. Okay, 100 HP. Oh my god, you only have 27 Oh my goodness. How does this Eevee has 3 times your defense, but you're the same level as him? Okay, well, we send out Eevee. We are actually able to tank the Aqua Cutter and take out Veluza. Jesus. And I thought Jigglypuff was gonna be good. Next, Wug Trio comes out and we send out Jigglypuff. We go ahead and use Explosion. We survive a headbutt. Oh my gosh, that does way too much damage. And we take him out. Our Grass Cat finally comes out as Crabominable comes out. We go ahead and just use Explosion, trying to get as much damage as possible, though, dealing around 60% of his HP. And he tries to use Slam on me, but it fails. And finally, now it's time to use Sylveon. We Wait, why did we not Terrasilize? Oh, we won the battle. And just like that, we beat Kofu. I was really underestimating Sylveon's strength, but he got the job done. All right, now it's time to take on the next gym leader, but I don't know who to go against next. Excuse me, sir, do you know where I can find the 5th gym?
Did you say sir? I'm a woman.
Hey, yo! I'm sorry, ma'am. Sorry, ma'am. You work out a lot, and I was nervous. I had no idea. You know what? I'm gonna give you 5 seconds to like the video right now, or I'm gonna beat up you and everybody watching right now. Whew, man, I'm really glad that that lady gave me the opportunity to like the video, because otherwise I would look like this guy right here. Fortunately, she was able to give me the directions to Medali, where we can take on the 5th gym. And this is where we go against Larry. We go ahead and start the battle with our Grass Cat against our Kamala. Holy crap, I just realized they're like 10 levels above us. We just go ahead and use Explosion, because any move that Kamala uses is probably gonna take me out. Next, we switch to Eevee, and Kamala uses Stick. Oh my god! Okay, he takes me out in 1 hit, and that means we have 1 less Pokemon to work with. Luckily, Luckily, he only has 3. We take him out with Greedent the next turn as Dunsparce comes out. We decide to use Meditite, a Pokemon with pure power, which basically means his attack is double. He's pretty over. Okay, that literally did half his health. And now his Staraptor comes out and Intimidate. Oh my goodness. It's okay because we're gonna Terrasilize with Sylveon and use Explosion. He took me out in 1 hit. All right, the next turn we use Oinkologne and we manage to survive a hit and take him out. So this ultimately means we have to use our Pokemon differently. And the real reason why all of my Pokemon are level 26 and 25, almost 10 levels under his, is because, I mean, it's just so hard to grind. It takes so much time. It's very tedious. And a lot of my Pokemon basically gets half of the XP it needs in order to level up. But we just gotta power through. We start the battle on Home Claws with a Grass Cat as Kamala uses Yawn. The next turn, he decides to use Yawn for some reason. That allows us to get a +1 explosion off, which means we're able to take him out in the very first turn. The next turn, Dunsparce comes out, and because Meditite is such a fast beast and has pure power, we're able to take out half of his HP. Next, we just use Greedent to get glared by the Dunsparce and manage to get the explosion off. That does enough damage. Oh, I'm pretty sure that crit mattered, but who cares? Dunsparce goes down, and now we have 3 Pokemon left. We learned that Oinkologne actually has the ability to take down Staraptor in 1 hit. Unfortunately, he has Intimidate, so if we send him out off the bat, then we're just gonna lose. He Terrasilizes, but this is when we utilize the move Baby Doll Eyes. This is a move that has priority that decreases the enemy attack by 1 stage, which is really good because there is no possible way that this Eevee was going to outspeed the Staraptor. Eevee goes down without doing a single thing, unfortunately, but now we're able to send out the Oinkologne. That is the weirdest name I've ever said. We Terrasilize, take a Facade, and explode. What? She doesn't obey me. Are you serious? Come on, Oinkologne. You have to, please, you have to explode this turn. Staraptor Facades me, takes me down to 3 HP as we break through the obey and explode. Holy crap. We barely won that battle, and I don't think we would have been able to without Oinkologne. But after winning this battle, we have the ability to control level 40 Pokemon plus, so we should be good now. We shouldn't have any problems with that. Is that the champion?
Oh, hi. Who are you? Oh my god, please don't talk to that guy. That guy is crazy. He blows up his Pokemon in front of everyone, and he doesn't even care about their well-being. He's insane.
Oh, Neoma, how are you doing? Do you want to battle?
No, I don't want to battle. Neoma, you're the champion. Why wouldn't you want to? I want to see you battle this guy. This guy has to be really strong. He managed to get 4 gym badges in the span of a couple hours.
No, I don't want to go against him. He's crazy. He's crazy. And we start the battle with Nemona. We start with Home Clawing with Florgato. And we use okay, she has a Celerock. That sucks. That means we're down a Pokemon already. And she has 4, which basically means we have to take her out with the next 4 of our Pokemon or we lose. Meditite comes out and explode. Oh, okay. Yeah, that was not the move. This is another example of me not utilizing my Pokemon correctly. And because of it, I lose the battle.
See, Neoma, why are you so scared of him? I mean, yeah, he just explodes all of his Pokemon, but he's a good challenge against you.
No! Damn, why'd she run off like that? Okay. Nemona really can't talk this video. I don't know what's wrong with her. But this upcoming gym leader is going to be very problematic. We're going against the Ghost type gym. And as it stands, we got very lucky with the Pokemon with Pixelate to be able to use a fairy type explosion. But after he explodes, we can't really do anything else. But unfortunately, we're going to be forced to do a double battle, which means we take out one of our Pokemon just to deal damage, and we explode our Pokemon after that. So we're going to need a team of Pokemon that can hit ghost types with normal moves. And I found a solution. Flamigo. This Pokemon has the ability Scrappy. That allows this Pokemon to be able to hit ghost types with fighting type moves and normal type moves. And that's exactly what we need. We're probably going to need a couple of them. So after catching one and training it up, we go ahead and take on the gym challenge. Training literally took like 10 hours, so we're cutting that. So here's the plan. We're going to Terrasilize with our Sylveon so we can do the most damage possible, and we're just going to explode. Worst case scenario, if we have to use our Flamigo, we can use Explosion with that Pokemon. Problem solved. But finally, it's time to take down Rhyme. We go ahead and start the battle with our Sylveon against her Bayonet and Mimikyu. We try using double team with Meowscarlet to dodge the explosion that's coming out, but she doesn't dodge it. And this battle is actually going to be a pain in the ass. Her first Pokemon that comes out is Mimikyu. Mimikyu has the ability to disguise, which means no matter what I do, it's going to take 2 hits in order to beat this Pokemon. And I only have 3 Pokemon that can hit ghost types on my team. The rest are just gonna have to be fodder for this battle. So we decide to use Detect on Metatite as Flamigo comes out and explodes. Otherwise, since this is a 6v6, we're not gonna be able to win, because if we just try exploding without doing this, we're just gonna run out of Pokemon because we explode all of our Pokemon on the field. Yes, this battle is actually one of the hardest that we're gonna have to go through. That being said, this is gonna really suck. Houndstone is in Phantom Force right now, which means I can't even hit him. Meanwhile, I'm having the biggest brain fart of my life. I let Metatite die. Unfortunately, these are my last two Pokemon on the field, which means if I explode, I'd lose. Because this is a double battle, that essentially means everything has to go right in order for us to win. And it really sucks. It would really help if Scarlet actually survived a turn with their double teams, but it's just not happening. I'm not gonna lie, this is like a 10-10. We break the disguise on Mimikyu, and our Flamigo and Scarlet goes down on top of the bayonet. The next turn, we send out Metatite and use Detect, and use our second Flamigo to blow up, and actually manage to take down the Houndstone and the Mimikyu simultaneously. And that's really what we want. This gives us the opportunity to terrestrialize into a normal type with Sylveon and use a Pixelate boosted explosion on Toxtricity. And that's what we needed to do in order to win. I don't know why I had the biggest brain fart facing this lady with her double battles, but we essentially needed everything to go right in order to win that. Wakaloins is the only Pokemon that we have left remaining. We made it this far, and the battles are pretty straightforward from here. We were able to explode on Nemona's whole entire team. Oh my god, you're a psychopath! Explode all over Tulip's Pokemon, gaining us the 7th badge with ease. But when we face the 8th badge, this is when we have a little wake-up call. We start the match with Scarlet outspeeding the Frostmoth and exploding, taking it out in one hit, sending out Medicham to outspeed Beartip. Yo, what is up with this Pokemon? Why is there like fur icicles on his like private okay, whatever. Easily taking him out. Flamigo now comes out as Setian comes out, and we use Explosion on it, outspeeding it, and it survives. And this is what I'm talking about. Pokemon with the highest attack stat, really good speed, but ultimately, if we don't use stab moves, we can't really win. We managed to take out the Setian, Altaria comes out, and we terrestrialize into Sylveon. Take a Hurricane and use Explosion, winning. Okay, yes, this is what I'm talking about. We're not using the right Pokemon either. Sylveon, yes, is very strong. Pixelate is a good ability and everything, but ultimately, Sylveon's attack stat is really bad, even though we damn near maxed it out. So we're just gonna need some stronger Pokemon in general. One Pokemon that stood out to me in particular is Maushold. This Pokemon is a beast, has incredible speed and attack, and has a signature move we can actually use, Tidy Up. But let's get into the battle. We start with Scarlet again and blow up on Frostmoth before she's able to even do a thing. Beartip comes out. Yeah, this, I don't care what you say, this is very weird. Flamigo blows up on him before he's able to move, and when the Setian comes out, we use Maushold to use Explosion, and whoa, okay, yes. This is what we're talking about. Pokemon like this. Super fast, super strong, and is able to take out very bulky Pokemon in one hit. You know, something like Medicham. And he's gonna use Explosion, outspeed the Altaria, and boom, just like that, we get 8 badges. The base game wasn't really that hard, but now it's the end game. And I'm gonna tell you guys right now, in post commentary, this is actually one of the most hard challenges I've ever did. We make it to the Elite Four. Look at my team right here. Yes, I beat the whole game and I'm only level 40, which, you know, is pretty normal, but yeah, we're literally 20 levels under. Using Explosion means that the growth of our team is cut in thirds. Even making ham sandwiches and grinding on Blissies, or even using a Lucky Egg, still takes a long time to level up these Pokemon. Despite that, we leveled them up. We optimized our team, and now it's time to take on the first Elite Four member. She starts with Wishcash as we send out Scarlet, and we go ahead and use Explosion, taking out the Wishcash. Next, Camerupt comes out. We use Explosion to take that out, and now Donphin comes out. We use Explosion, and okay, she has Sturdy. That basically means that we cannot take her down in one hit. This sucks a lot. And since she has 5 Pokemon, that literally means all 5 of her Pokemon that comes out has to faint her whole entire team. That means all the grinding that I did was pretty much a waste of time, and we have to go back to the drawing. Since Donphin has Sturdy, I was thinking thinking, maybe using an ice type Pokemon would be a really good idea, and we can teach them Hail. So I did that. I went to go catch a Citian, I leveled them up all the way to level 60, and we got in battle again. Everything went as normal, and finally the Dolphin comes out. We use Snowscape, we take a hit, and okay, she doesn't take damage. This is when I facepalm, because this is when I learned that Snowscape doesn't do chip damage to Pokemon anymore, and it only increases the defense that our Pokemon has. So all that grinding that I did was for nothing. Tell how upset I was by me just sitting on the screen for the next 10 minutes. Like we said again, we have to go to the drawing board. How in the world are we gonna get past this Pokemon having Sturdy? We know that we have enough firepower to defeat her Pokemon, but now what strategy, what move, what could we possibly do to get rid of her Sturdy? The first thing I thought was using Mold Breaker, and I knew the right place to get a Pokemon that has that ability. I caught a Tink. Tink evolves into Tinkaton, and Tinkaton has an ability called Mold Breaker. If you're not familiar with what Mold Breaker does, it basically ignores all abilities. So let's send out Tinkaton and use Explosion. Oh my gosh, I don't kill it. So this is gonna be a little bit more complicated than just sending out Pokemon, exploding them, and winning. After sacrificing 2 of our Pokemon, we have to send out our Oinkologne on Dolphin, use Yawn on his Dolphin, and Tail Whip it 3 to 4 times before it wakes up, and switch to Tinkaton so we can get the explosion off. Unfortunately, he wakes up and uses it Earthquake on me, and we barely survive, but we're able to outspeed him the very next turn and take him out. And just like that, we beat a Pokemon with Sturdy in 1 hit. We only have 3 Pokemon left. Dugtrio comes out, and fortunately our Metachan is faster than the Dugtrio. We explode it, and finally Clodsire comes out. You know, I play this game a lot, so I know this Clodsire loves using Protect on the first turn. So just to be safe, I use Charm, lowering his attack just in case it does attack me, and getting rid of his Protect if he doesn't. For that being said, we outplay her and win the first battle against the first Elite Four member. Yes, that was really tough, but now this is where the challenge truly begins. We gotta go against this little girl in her Steel type Pokemon. Explosion is a normal type move. Steel type Pokemon resist Explosion. So how are we gonna get past it? We start the battle, use Explosion on Copper. Okay. Yep, we're just exploding our Pokemon. Yep. Oh, yeah, we're nowhere near away. But we got to scout out a lot of their moves and what we could possibly do to win. One Pokemon in particular that's gonna be a pain in the ass is that Bronzong. So it's looking like we're gonna have to increase our attack a shit ton to get rid of that. And her Magnezone has Sturdy. And right here, I'm just gonna be honest with you guys. The grinding was very tedious. So tedious to the fact where I gave myself a lot of XP candies in order to finish the rest of this game out, because it would literally take me 4 hours to get 10 levels. And we gotta make sure that this video gets out on time. So we leveled up our Pokemon to around level 70, and to take out this Copper Roger, we're forced to use Hone Claws 2 times and explode. Next, the Magnezone comes out, and we need to get this Magnezone low enough to be able to get one shot by Tinkaton. So we're forced to stockpile a couple times, get ourselves very bulky, and Tail Whip. Rest when we need some HP, and repeat until this Magnezone is frail as 10. We swap the Tinkaton, we're able to easily take his attack and use Explosion to take him out, negating his Sturdy, and that's Magnezone down. Next, the Bronzong comes out, so we use Mouse Hold and we use Tidy Up to get rid of Stealth Rocks and increase our attack and speed in 1 turn. We use Charm to drop his attack by 2 stages and get another Tidy Up. We're able to explode and take him down in 1 hit. Luckily, it's not over yet though. Next, Corviknight comes out, so we're kind of forced to use our Metacham that has pure power to use Explosion on it. Luckily, that was enough power to take it out. And finally, her Tinkaton comes out, terrestrializes, and we're gonna have to do a lot of stalling in order to get rid of this. Fortunately, I swapped my Greedent on the 2nd turn of his rest, so it's going to wake up immediately. We just have to survive a hit. Her Gigaton Hammer comes out, and we eat it. We get a stockpile up, and we're smooth sailing from here. All we gotta do is Tail Whip, terrestrialize, and use Explosion. We almost get knocked out by her Gigaton Hammer, but we managed to knock her out with our Explosion. And that is how we beat the 2nd Elite Four member. Next, it's against Larry, and we're able to just explode all of his Pokemon with ease. I mean, really, there's nothing really to talk about. All of his Pokemon are frail, and we are using some super fast Pokemon. And really, the same could be said to Hassel. I was able to knock him out on my first attempt. Oh my god! Can we even say this guy should be able to face the champion? I mean, he's only using Pokemon with Explosion.
Yeah,
If he wasn't using explosion, he wouldn't be able to beat us at all.
What are you guys talking about? If I didn't have to use explosion with this lineup, I'd be able to beat all of you with ease.
Nah, he's just using an overpowered move to beat you.
What? Why are you talking? It was the hardest to beat you because all of your Pokemon just ate my moves.
Shut up. You're just a psychopath that doesn't care about his Pokemon.
Well, she definitely has a point. I'm just blowing my Pokemon up. But now we gotta go against the champion, and guess what? She has 6 Pokemon. So how are we possibly going to win this battle? How can we beat Pokemon Violet only using explosions? Especially since we have to sacrifice a Pokemon just to win. No cheating, no cheating, no cheating. Drop in the comments right now. What do you think I'm forced to do in order to win? I'll give you 2 seconds. Ultimately, we have to make it so a Pokemon struggles to death. You could probably tell why I had Greedent on my team. But what is the most efficient way to make a Pokemon struggle? Because typically speaking, it would take 50 turns to make a Pokemon struggle. So we start the battle with Flamigo and explode immediately because we're faster than a Sparta, taking it out with ease. Next, we send out Meowscarda as Go-Go comes out, and we use Trick. As you can see, our Meowscarda has a choice scarf. This means Go-Go is locked into using Play Rough. Luckily, it misses us and Greedent cut out. He's a bulky beast. We're able to use Stockpile and eat Go-Go's moves. Play Rough only has 10 power points. So in order for Go-Go to beat me, he would basically have to hit me 10 times in a row with crits. While we're waiting, we're just getting him very, very low with Tail Whips. And whenever we get low, we can rest. But in 10 turns, we can get the Go-Go to struggle. And while struggling, you lose 25% of your HP every attack. So in the span of 14 turns, the Go-Go goes down. Now Avalok comes out. But the battle's not over yet because we basically have to beat all 6 of her Pokemon in one shot. Luckily, we're able to Tail Whip and destroy Avalok. Veluza comes out next and our Oikoloinge is able to take it out. We have 3 Pokemon left. Meowscarda comes out as King Gambit comes out, and we're forced to Hone Claws because we have to ensure that we kill this Pokemon. I really don't want to do this. So we Hone Claws twice and then we explode, and we're able to take him out with Meowscarda. Finally, our Medicham with Pure Power comes out as Glamora comes out. Glamora is a rock type, which means she resists its norm. Medicham is very, very powerful, but if we don't kill them in this turn, we lose. That being said, our explosion takes her out and we beat Pokemon Violet only using explosion. So we learned that it is possible. It's very, very tedious and the most annoying game experience you will ever have playing Pokemon, but you basically have to just buff your Pokemon and have a bunch of bulky Pokemon to compensate for you having explosion. And when there is 6 Pokemon, you would basically have to make the last one struggle. That being said, that's it. If you enjoyed the video, please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. I make videos just like this every single week, so please make sure to hit that notification bell if you enjoy this type of content. That's it. Why did my rival have to be a psychopath that just blows up his Pokemon and beats my Pokemon in one turn because he's using a 250 base power normal type move? This is really traumatizing.